The Third City Podcast is a production of Third City Coalition. In our show, we examine case studies in urban development in Stockton and other cities like Stockton across the country, exploring their local and regional impacts. Individual efforts play a role in Third City development, and it starts with you. We hope you'll join us for new episodes starting in early 2017.
Do you want to relive the golden days of Stockton?
Welcome to Locally Live right here on KXVS, the voice of Stockton. This is Donavin Mazewski right here on the voice of Stockton. Today was a good day. I don't know if you guys noticed that. The sun was not terribly bright. It was actually like it was bearable today, I think you could say. It wasn't like a normal like summery. I don't know about if you guys, but like recently every day that I've woken up, it's just been pure heat like blaring down on me unless I wake up at like crack o'clock in the morning, which has not been great. But today is much better than that. Not only is it like a little bit humid but shady, we have a wonderful guest in the studio today, Dominick Brewster, everyone.
Hi.
Say hello, Dominick.
Howdy. Thank you guys so much for letting me do this.
Of course, I'm glad to have you in here. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm 17. I'm a musician, and I was asked to come down here, and I just, music to me is just a very important thing in my life. I mean, without it, I would probably be insane.
You'd be insane.
Oh, absolutely.
You'd be crazy without the music.
Oh, absolutely. And it's the only thing that's ever really been there for me. And music to me just, there's nothing I'd rather do. So to be able to do it here and people who might enjoy it is incredible. So thank you.
Well, that's wonderful. We certainly enjoy your music. I don't know if you guys know this. Dominick is incredibly talented with his guitar. I didn't even know. I was watching him perform I think it was a few weeks ago, actually. And it was just, he was going. It was nice. It was, like, obviously a lot of talent, a lot of love, like, in the music. And then he had this solo that was just, like, it blew me out of the water. I did not expect it at all. Because he was playing, like, well, but he wasn't, like, ripping it, And then he just let loose, and it was wonderful.
Thank you.
If I can ask, where does your love for and your appreciation for music? You say it's the only thing that's really been there for you. It's stuck with you coming up. I mean, where does that originate?
Well, it really comes out of I've had an anxiety disorder since as long as I can remember, and it's been random things of like when you're a little kid, I would be panicked I would think I'm gonna get a heart attack, and then for some reason as a little kid with this anxiety disorder, my mind goes to what if I have an anxiety attack? Heart attack. What if I die right now because of a heart attack? And, it doesn't make any sense because you're a 5-year-old kid.
Right.
And so things like that, the only thing that could really comfort me was going to things like if I panic, I have to pick up a guitar. If I'm somewhere where I'm panicking and I can't grab a guitar, I'm screwed, and I've passed out. I've had moments where I would sit in a recliner and like zone out just out of sheer anxiety attacks.
Wow.
So music is really, it is the best medication I could possibly ask for.
That's beautiful. That's a nice connection right there. Like it's bound to you at this point.
It really is. But yeah, thank you. I mean, I couldn't do anything else if it weren't for music.
That's interesting. I used to I've never been quite the performer that I always wanted to, and like right now I'm learning a little bit more about guitars and piano and trying to learn like the coordination of the notes and like how to make music.
Yeah.
In a traditional sense. I mean, I know like you technically can make music by singing or
more like music theory.
More like music theory. That's what I'm trying to like learn and become better at.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, it's very interesting you said that. I didn't recognize them. Like if I read it in a book now, you would say, oh, that's kind of like a minor anxiety attack.
Yeah.
But I used to get those like instances and those like those heart like bumps and like that nervousness as a kid, and I never knew what it was, and like I didn't talk to people about it, so I just got used to it and I dealt with it until and like it doesn't affect me so much now, but it was existed in me as like a child.
Yeah.
And something that I always found was very calming was my dad. Used to be like a producer for quite a while, and he used to make music for different people and like background music and beats and whatnot.
Okay.
And he really liked bass. He was real into bass, which was cool because like I'm a kid, I got a small body, so when like he would have these huge speakers playing and just bumping this bass and like these cool melodies, it would like chill me out. And it was really nice, and it would I fell asleep like all the time in his studio. Like it was my bedroom.
Well, and I a lot of musicians you'll see, I've seen interviews and they'll ask, well, if people were to ask you what line of business you were in, what would you say? And a lot of them go, I'd say I'm in the business of transportation. And what I feel music is for me is I don't think I am in the business of transportation. I feel that I am someone who is able to convey what music can do, and I feel that I'm blessed that I am able to bring that to people. But music itself, I feel, transports us to a place where you're not necessarily away, but you're more in tune with the fact that you're okay. You know, nothing's wrong.
Wow. Yeah, I agree with you. That's a very philosophical take on music right there.
You turn it on the radio and sorry.
It's great. It's good content, man. Good to hear it. And like I know it's honest right there. Like it's not like, well, you know, it's like it's honest. Like that's how you really feel, and I appreciate that. Thank you for like sharing that with us. It's it means a lot.
Thank you. I mean, I feel weird that you're thanking me. I'm not doing anything. I'm amazed that anyone's willing to listen.
Of course, man. So now they know that the people out there, our listeners, they know that you're philosophical. They know that you have this understanding. It's great. Where are you from?
I am originally from Sacramento, and I moved here a long time ago. And I've pretty much lived here ever since, probably maybe 10 years.
10 years in Stockton?
Yeah.
Well, that's a long time. So how old are you now?
I'm 17.
You're 17. Okay, so that means you went to high school out here.
Yeah.
What high school did you go
to? Lincoln, and now currently Vista Oaks Charter.
Vista Oaks Charter. Where is that by?
That's in Lodi, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Commute?
Yeah.
So you're like, I should do every morning. Got to go out there.
Yeah.
And then come back during the night. Yeah. Well, that's nice. I mean, you're local, though. I love it. Local talent, locally live. That's what we're all about.
Yeah.
And you know, to be honest with you, like my sense of local extends past just like, well, you live in Stockton, California. I mean, if you're from the 209 area, if you're from San Joaquin, if you're from like kind of northern or southern California, you know, and you're just like part of this area, if you're like valley bred, then you're local.
Yeah.
You're one of us.
Yeah.
You're one of the Cali boys. That's wonderful. Now, when you were in high school, did you take music courses there?
Yeah, I mean, I took jazz band and stuff like that, just because there's you can. I feel like if I didn't, sometimes you gotta, even if you love it, you have to force yourself to practice. You've got to force yourself to kind of, well, I gotta play this scale, or I gotta go do this, or I gotta work on this, and it's hard sometimes. So stuff like that really helped. Still practice.
Let's get that like extra practice. Like me, I love music. I think it's wonderful. I love the different impressions and sort of perspectives and feelings and like thoughts that you can get from listening just to like a interestingly written or organized, you know, pattern of beats and sounds.
Yeah.
Like where it can put you in your mind and what it can remind you of or make you think of. Like I think that's wonderful. It's a great way to feel and to think like in one sort of experience. You know? And that's a weird description, but you know. Now that being said, I've been trying to learn like how to produce music, and it's not always easy.
Oh, dude.
And
no. No.
His eyes went wide, guys. And it's not, and so something like being in a band, like where it's part of your curriculum at this point. So you have to like go in there and practice for your grade and like go and meet with these other people and like stick to this schedule or so. Like I imagine that's very helpful.
Yeah. Oh, extremely. And because it's, even if it's something that you love to do and you do every day anyways, doesn't mean that doing it every day will get you better if you're not really challenging yourself every day. And sometimes that's not a fun thing to do at all.
Right, of course. It's kind of the bane of some artists, you know, like they're excellent artists, but you know, I think today I'll laze about and just kind of feel around. And it's cool. It's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It's nice. Now, I'm curious, though. I ask about your classes because you've said music has been a part of you like since you were young.
Yeah.
And it was like your solace as a child. like when learning how to play, learning how to make songs, how to write, how to create the sounds, like where did you do most of that? I mean, did it start when you were younger?
Well, I guess I've technically been playing music since before I can remember. But my mom would always say I'd be a little kid and I'd be playing a harmonica and stomping my foot, but I had no rhythm and I was such a little kid I couldn't play it right, so I was just stomping around. But I've never really, I'll put it this way, I've never known what the hell I'm doing, if that makes any sense, you know. And I feel like you have to not know. If you know exactly what you're doing every minute, every performance, I don't think it becomes artistry anymore. I think that I probably started writing maybe when I was 12, and they were awful songs. Like, I'd write it about a girl I liked, and
oh god,
I was like, oh yeah, and then I'd play it, and I'm like, oh, this is awful, but people enjoyed it, you know.
Right.
And that's kind of what blew my mind, is like, I do this alone in my room. I do this alone, and I do it for me. And the fact that anyone cares to listen or enjoys it is like, it brings you back to like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Why are you listening to me? You know? Right.
Yeah. And then here you are now. It's been some time. You're performing all the time, in front of larger audiences, and
yeah.
Do you sometimes you get that same feeling?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anytime I would be called back to play anywhere, it's an overwhelming sense of joy that they cared, if that makes any sense. Like, you don't expect, at least I don't know if anyone else feels like
Someone's
this.
like, I'm amazing, they better love me.
I fear of being like that. I never ever want to be that prideful or assumptive. I really hope I can always be surprised to be called to play somewhere. But yeah, just you never know.
Well, that's very nice. I mean, humility is an excellent quality, especially as an upcoming musician. Like, it goes away. It'll surprise you when you turn back and you realize, like, man, and you like, man, for the last few years, I've just been, because like you're grinding, like for a lot of like, especially if you're an independent artist, like you're working as much as you're enjoying yourself. You know, you're having fun, and you're like, I just love music, and I love being like a part of this process.
Yeah.
But of course, there's a lot of work and like hard work involved. So you know, you're pushing yourself and pushing yourself through like your environment, through obstacles, making music a priority, and like doing everything you can to like make that aspect of your life greater.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can surprise you when you look back and you realize how much distance you've covered.
Yeah.
And
oh
then
yeah.
I'm sure you get that impression sometimes.
Yeah. And I definitely feel like that a lot of the time. And I think another part of it is not trying to expect where you're going. You know, I write. I hope people enjoy what I write, and it's just kind of doing stuff like this and trying to see where it leads. Okay, I'm sorry that I'm dropping all these like huge bombs on everyone.
They're wonderful. I'm glad to hear them.
But so, one thing that I feel music has been lately is, especially in pop, I don't want to isolate a genre because I don't feel that's fair to any genre. But pop, I feel especially, of course with exceptions, is becoming more of a science, which I don't think is necessarily wrong. But for me, music is something that is nostalgic, that is meaningful and provoking. And I don't feel like pop does that anymore. And I would love it if it did. But again, there are people who like pop. And I think there's a lot of like people who want to go to produce music. Pop would probably be the best thing you can listen to because everything's auto-tuned. You got to learn how to use Melodyne.
Right.
You got to learn how to set up a click track and how to change this note to that note if they messed up. And like production-wise, pop would probably be the best thing you could listen to. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, continue there. I don't want to interrupt.
Oh, you're fine. I was just gonna say, music-wise, like going back to I feel what music does. I feel there's a lot to be changed. I think there will be, but again, I know I've said it a bunch of times, but I never know, and you can never know.
Right, yeah. And I would 100% agree with you. It's kind of, it's a little bit, it's laid there in the terminology of the genre of music. I mean, like, again, you wouldn't want to isolate a genre. But pop, I mean, they're a special case because it's called pop, which is short for popular, right?
Yeah.
And it's, whereas like back in the day when we were less sophisticated as far as our technology and our analysis of the music and like what we really could do to make it like the quote perfect song where every song is like guaranteed to be a hit and people are just going to love it and enjoy it. And you'll sell copies and you'll be able to market the song.
Yeah.
Before we could do that like so scientifically and perfectly, it was pop. It was what was popular. You know, that's why like it got the name. And like, of course, genres, different types of songs move into different types of genres over time. Periods.
Yes, yeah.
You know, musical history. And of course, what music you listen to when you listen to like right now, if I turned on like pop on Pandora, what I would hear now is different than what I would have heard if I hit pop 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
But it's less pop and more industrialized. Do you know what I mean? Like made to be like the most, it's like it's factory made, it's formed, it's cookie cutter.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. And I don't want to like frown upon that. I don't think it's necessarily wrong, but I think it's definitely become that. I mean, it's become exact. You know, every note is exactly there. I've been in a studio and a keyboardist had messed up, and from that, the man behind the soundboard went and clicked on each note that was wrong and out of key and dragged them into key. You don't have to play an instrument anymore, at least in pop, to necessarily be a musician, which I think has its ups and its downs. Yes. But yeah, it's very interesting. Music is like, I feel like it's a lot of times it's not really looked at very develop wise, but it's in a crazy state right now.
Yeah. I agree with you. We got into quite a bit of musical philosophy, and just to be, just to tell all of you guys out there, we're not bashing pop. Pop is great.
No.
Pop artists, you guys, we love you, like to the fullest.
Yes.
We're discussing the sort of mechanical, like direction that some of the more bigger songs and like way we create these songs has come to be.
Have you heard Harry Styles' like album he just put out?
I know the name. I haven't heard exactly. Tell me.
Listen
about
to
it. Woman by Harry Styles.
Oh my goodness. It is so good.
It is so good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think a friend of mine told me to listen to him, so I'm going to.
Do it.
And I'm going to send her this audio clip of this interview so she knows like where I got it from. And I'm like, that was Dominick. He suggested it, so be happy. Man, it's been like 20 minutes. I totally forgot, guys. Got sucked into this wonderful conversation. I forgot we have to go on a little break here. Unfortunately, we will be right back, everyone. You're listening to Locally Live right here on KXVS, the voice of Stockton. This is Donavin Mazewski, joined here with special guest
Dominick Brewster.
Dominick Brewster. I love your last name, by the way. I didn't get to say that.
Thank you.
It's the coolest of names I think I've heard in about a month.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back, guys. See you in a minute.
KXVS Radio, the voice of Stockton, KXVS 92.1 FM.
The Third City Podcast is a production of Third City Coalition. In our show,
the name Brewster, it's kind of synonymous, I think, with bro. Like, your name might as well be Dominick Bro.
I hope so. That's pretty cool. I like that.
It's a cool term, right? Now, obviously, Dominick, great musician, great artist, great songwriter, I've been told. Have only heard little bits.
Mm-hmm.
Excited to hear more today. Now, before we go into your, like, you actually playing your music, which is it's our big finish. Could you tell us a little bit more about, like, your songwriting process?
The process in which I've come to write songs, or the process in which I write songs?
Both of them would be perfect.
Oh, okay. In which I've come to write songs, it's basically been, it's again, I don't know what I'm doing. I just wanted to make music. It's literally expressing yourself. I feel like musicians are probably some of the most insecure people you could possibly meet. Because they can't, instead of expressing what they feel through words, they have to do it and disguise it in a song, if that makes any sense. Which isn't always the case, but definitely helps. It makes it much easier to convey. Right. But in which I write songs, it's a lot of... I had a talk with Philip LaRue, and he's the guy who writes the music for the Nashville television show. And I had a phone call with him, and I was asking him, like, I've got these songs, and like if someone were to ask me how many songs you've written, I'd want to say like 20, 30. I want to say these huge numbers, but it would probably end up being like 6 or 5, because I get into these. You are in this moment where you have to write a song. You go in and this is going to be a great song. I have this melody worked out. I'm in this feeling. I have these chords, and this sounds really good. This represents how I'm feeling. But then the next day, if you're not in that feeling again, at least for me, it's extremely difficult to try and continue it. You get stuck, like you get cut off. And he was telling me to do this thing called the bubble method, or I call it the bubble method. He didn't even call it a name. So I've coined the term bubble method by Philip LaRue, and you basically write 4 feelings that you feel in the corners of a page. You circle it, and then you draw 2 lines from each of those bubbles, and then you write a literal reason why you feel that, and a metaphorical reason, like the metaphor of which you feel that way, why you feel that way on a deeper level. And then you do the same thing, 2 sticks from those 2 bubbles, and it grows into this giant mass of bubbles, and you find one, and he said that's your North Star idea. And he was incredible to talk to, because he had a meaning with everything he said. I mean, if I zoned off for 20 seconds, I probably would have missed 10 secrets of life that I would die tomorrow. I mean, he has everything, it seems, and he had this whole section about North Star idea. You take that North Star idea and you bubble off from that. You bubble until you find the North Star idea, and then the next page is just that North Star idea that you bubble from. Wow. And so that helps me a lot.
That's amazing. What a concept, right? It's kind of a like, I'm imagining what the page would look like after. It's a great...
If you didn't explain what it was, and your apartment was searched, you would be arrested.
Surely.
You would look insane.
It sounds kind of like looking at it, it sounds like it would, if you could, like, understand what it was, it would look like a, kind of like a visual representation of, like, of your thoughts. Like,
yes.
Like, there's an old practice where, like, you write down, or someone says a word, and then you, like, write down whatever word, whether it's like a verb, a vowel, like a noun or whatever it is, like you put it down. And then so you associate the next one with that one, and it's like it's a way to track your thoughts. That seems like an excellent way to use that sort of idea, and like make something from it.
Well, yeah, and Philip LaRue like showed all that to me. Philip LaRue seriously is amazing, and I'm so thankful for him to even like taking the time to talk with me, and I felt bad at the end of that call because all I could say was thank you,
Right.
I felt like I owed him so much more because he helped me incredibly. But yeah,
that's beautiful, man. And I know sometimes it's insane, like, and you're like a particularly humble guy, so like I can imagine you're just like, your eyes are wide open. You're like, oh, thank you. This is so much.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't mention it. He's like, I'm gone.
Yeah. He goes, update me how everything goes. I'm like, you want to talk to me? Like, what?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I can see what he's talking about, man. I look at you here, just talking to you in the studio. Not to weird you out, but you're a unique person, and like I can see you're on this good path, this journey, and I can see like your personality and like your charisma and like your, I don't know how to say it. There's this glow about this guy. He's real good.
Thank you.
He's going
I
places.
appreciate it.
Yeah. And I'm sure someone like him, of course, professional, old-timey guy, can see it too. Your songs, now, that's your songwriting process. You've written some songs.
Yeah.
And you're ready to play some of them.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell us about the first one you'd like to play?
Yeah, sure. I'll play it first, and then I'll explain it, if that's okay.
That's perfect.
Because I feel like if I explain it beforehand, it would just make it weird.
Okay. You're good.
All right. Thanks.
You can go ahead and set up. I'm very excited, guys. It's going to be real cool. Dominick is, if you're watching our live stream, you can see it on the cameras. He's setting up right now. And again, you're about to hear it for yourself, but a very talented guy, so this is quite the treat.
Am I good this far from the mic?
Yes, you're perfect.
Cool. An already broken dream. My life is bursting at the seams. But can you just stop freaking out for a second? Because I can't understand when you're losing your mind. I'm holding my dreams above my head. Can you stop me? But I forgot to look ahead. 'Cause I've never felt better than when we were together. And I can see the writing on the wall. When I'm feeling like a failure, oh, how you stop me. Without you, how will I get through it all? I can see it all from the outside. His empty stare and muffled cry. His limbs held down by flash floods of depression that he can't understand in his current state of mind. He's holding his dreams above his head. Should we stop him? He forgot to look ahead. I've never felt better than when we were together. 'Cause I can see the writing on the wall. When I'm feeling like a failure, oh, how you stop me. Without you, how will I get through it all? I'm not doing enough. I've fallen into failure. What have I done? 'Cause when you said that I was the one, I never thought it'd be this fun. I've never felt better than when we were together. I can see the writing on the wall. Oh girl, how you stop me. Without you, how will I get through it all?
Well, that was wonderful.
Thank you.
Excellent song, man.
Thank you.
Can
I move this way?
Yeah, you can go ahead and move it whatever way is most comfortable.
Thank you.
Great melody and like all that. And the lyrics they're very touching and like I can hear it in your voice, man. Tell us about the inspiration for that, man.
Well, the inspiration for that was actually anxiety. I was having anxiety attacks for a very long period of time. This is very new, actually. I wrote this maybe 2-3 weeks ago. And it got to a point where one night I just kind of sat down on a recliner and I stared at my dinner for half an hour. Whoa. And I was crying, but it wasn't audible. I was silent and tears were running down my face and I couldn't move to do anything but stare at my dinner plate. It was like I've never felt so literally numb. There's no other word that can describe that feeling but exactly numb. And it was awful. And my mom has been diagnosed with extreme anxiety disorder as well. And she let me. I was strongly opposed to any sort of medication. And so she let me try a bit of hers, and it like lifted. And I've never felt better than when we were together. I could see the writing on the wall, which this entire time was there's nothing to worry about. You're okay. Calm down. You're gonna do what you're gonna do. Mistakes are vital. Right. And it really, that entire thing is just about letting go. Longing for that moment where I was free from anxiety. Wow, that's beautiful. And, that impression kind of comes across like in the music. Like, I mean, as I'm sure it was intentional. You're like, oh yeah, I was writing it for that. But it does. It comes across well. Like that's I don't know the words for it, and I didn't know exactly the story. But like that's the idea, kind of, that I get, that feeling. It comes through your music. So you did an excellent job of that. Well Thank made. You. Good. It's a good feeling music. I like that, man. You make good feeling music. Like it's beautiful. Thank you.
If you'd like to do another, that would be great. But that was amazing.
Sure. I'll do one more.
Okay. Thank you. That was amazing, guys. And hopefully we can salvage that audio from this. And if I could at another time work with Dominick to get a recorded version of that song, would just be the greatest version, the greatest thing ever. I don't know if you have.
To be honest with you, another thing that Philip LaRue had said was write 20 to 30 songs, and then from those 20 to 30 songs, play them any place you can get, any place that'll have you, and then kind of experiment from there. The ones that people like, maybe take the top 4 or 5 and put those into an album. And right now, that's really my plan. And so if anyone enjoys this, please, my Instagram is Dominick Brewster Official, which seems kind of pretentious to put official, but yeah. And please, DOMINICK BREWSTER Official, and please just message me, and if you liked any of it, because that would help out a lot. That would mean a lot too.
Wonderful. Thank you, man.
Know what I want and what I don't want. You already see who I'm not and who I wanna be. You already know what I want. 'Cause when you're walking around in my head, you've already made yourself a bed. And this fear of myself I can't deny. Going crazy as my mind it comes alive. Your ring never ends, no matter where my mind's been or where my time's spent. Your ring never ends. all night long. 'Cause when I'm aching from all you've done to me, I'm shaking, tears are running down the front of me. And the split, though I don't know where it is, it deepens, becoming an abyss. And as my mind's racing, making a bitch at a time, these people don't understand what's going on inside my mind. And as time's racing, making a bitch out of me, I have to remind myself this is not what it's supposed to be. Not what it's supposed to be.
That was excellent. Loved everything about that. Before I ask anything about the lyrics, I gotta ask the melody and the music. What made you want to go in that direction? It's a different type of, slightly different, obviously, than like the last one.
Yeah.
What inspired you?
Well, I've always been kind of opposed to traditional chord progressions, which I shouldn't be, but it's one thing I try not to use, and I really liked that because it was kind of jazz chords mixed with seventh chords mixed with other seventh chords, and it was just kind of, and I was like, oh, I like that, and it sounded kind of seductive, and I was like, whoa, and I was like, there we go, and but the problem was I wasn't in any sort of relationship. I wasn't being seduced or anything near, you know. So it's like you kind of think, well, crap, what do I write about? This is as a really crazy vibe, and again, anxiety, you know. It to me is seductive. It seduces me into mindsets and thoughts that I should never ever consider, you know, that don't make any sense. When you're walking around in my head, you've already made yourself a bed, because I know as soon as I start feeling an anxiety attack coming on, it's done right there. I gotta go somewhere where I can play guitar or where I can be alone. It's gotta write itself out. And when I'm aching from all you've done to me, I'm shaking, tears running down the front of me. It's just all stuff that anxiety has done to me. And when you think about it, it's a lot of stuff that that can happen in a relationship.
It sure can.
Abusive almost. So
that's very creative, man.
Thank you.
And it ties together so well. It's a song that's relatable to people who listen. Like I listened to that and I was like, man, yeah, there's a lot of those things that I'm like, that's how it is. And which is great too, because I mean, whether you're anxious or whether you're we're in a bad relationship, or maybe one that wasn't necessarily super bad but just didn't go well. Yeah. Or anything, you know, that's like affecting you, like in your heart and in your mind. Yeah. Your music, and in that song in particular, you can relate to it and you can listen to it, and I think that's wonderful.
Well, thank you. I hope people can relate to it. If people couldn't, I mean, wouldn't be doing what it's intended to.
Right. Those are amazing. We have to go on another quick break. Sure. Before we do, again, obviously, anyone who listens to this is now a follower of yours, because they're like, oh, Dominick, you're so amazing. How can they follow you? How can they stay attuned to what you're doing?
You can follow me on Instagram, Dominick Brewster Official, Dominick with a CK. And other than that, I'm really working on building up my social media presence. I'm really not great with social media whatsoever. So... yeah, just kind of trying to build that up, especially a YouTube presence, so that I can really get that across.
It's an interesting thing you got to get used to, you know, like especially as an independent artist, you got to like be your own promoter. Yeah. And like you got to learn the ropes and like how to best interact with your audience. Mm-hmm. And it's surely a process. Thank you, Dominick. We're going to be right back.
Thank you.
Right here on Locally Live. This is Donavin Mazewski, KXVS, the voice of Stockton. Stay tuned.
My name is Josh, and you're listening to KXVS, the voice of Stockton, 92.1 FM.
Coming to 92.1 KXVS, the voice of Stockton, every Thursday at noon, spotlight on Black Lights, the show that illuminates creative and artistic achievements in the African American community, with your host, Tama Brisbane, Poet Laureate for the city of Stockton, California. The show is Black
The voice of Stockton.
And we're back. Welcome back to Locally Live right here on KXVS 92.1 FM, the voice of Stockton. Donavin Mazewski here, joined here with special guest
Dominick Brewster.
Dominick Brewster. You've been called Broski before, surely.
No.
Brewski?
No.
Okay. You're probably gonna hear a lot of those names soon.
That's
now that
fine.
I've brought
I'm
it
cool
into
with
the
that.
universe.
I'm cool with that.
You're cool with those names?
Yeah.
That's good, because I'm sure you're gonna hear them a lot.
Okay, cool.
Heard a lot about your wonderful music today, your songwriting process, your beginnings, excellent, and some of your philosophies, which I'm really glad we got to go into. Like, a lot of times, I don't get the chance to talk about that with, like, a guest I'll have, or even just, I mean, honestly, like, in life, when you encounter a person, oftentimes you guys can't go into those things because, you know, life is busy, and, like, they're just not in that we were able to touch on some of those things today. Your plan, I mean, it's a broad topic, but, like, where are you moving toward with your music? Like, what do you see in the next few years?
Well, I am at the very beginning, to say the least. I mean, I don't even think I'm at the beginning yet. You know, if I feel that I am preparing to get to the starting line. And I guess my plan for the next few years would just be to develop a solid group of 20 to 30 songs and just be testing them out everywhere I can. Hoping that people relate with the songs as much as I do, and that they enjoy that part of me, and that that is the reason they will have me play. In the next few years, I'd like to accomplish being able to set up my own shows so that I can play solely my own music to people. And I guess ultimate goal would be playing my music for as many people as I possibly can.
That's beautiful. That's a nice point. And it's humble in a sense, but I mean, like, it's not like, well, you know, in the next few years I want to be in LA with a mansion, just sipping tea.
Oh no, I'm prepared to be very poor. I'm very poor. Because
it's good. It's good you have that expectation.
Yeah.
But I mean, but like, you're not just like, well, you know, that's life. You're working toward more.
Yeah.
And I see that. And I scrolled through, I went on his Facebook page and not your Facebook, his Instagram page, the one he mentioned earlier. And I was able to see, like, you, in, like, these different locations playing on these different areas. And, like, and I realized, simply from the production put into the page, like, this guy's serious. He cares about what he's doing. It's not just like, well, here's a side thing I kind of do a little bit. It's a direction.
That's the reason, actually, I went to a Vista Oaks charter, was that it was much more flexible, so that I could do my music, because this is what I want to do.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Kind of curious, if the opportunity for, like, you to go on tour came up in the next, like, few years, and let's say you had to put more or less everything going on with your life on hold for, like, a few months, do you think you'd be willing to do that?
I think my dilemma at that moment would be figuring out the ideal luggage into which I can pack my things without damaging them, because I would be gone. I would absolutely love to tour.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
You'd be into it.
Absolutely. You get to travel and play your music. I can't imagine doing anything else. That's all I want to do.
Like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, if someone offered me that,
that's my life set right there.
It would be off soon like a rocket.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful to hear, man. It's very good. Someone like you, I know, it's a trend I've noticed. At, like, you, with your talent and, like, your dedication to it, it's not at all hard for me to see. I mean, if this hasn't already happened, a producer, like, approached you and said, like, hey, I want to take you on tour. I mean,
that would be great. I mean, it's not happened yet, mainly because, especially with anxiety. I'm sorry I keep bringing up anxiety,
it's okay, man.
But that's just a huge part of my life. And with anxiety, to play anywhere, I've actually gone to shows and I wouldn't even be, it would be an open mic. You know, there's no reason to be afraid. The people in there aren't listening anyway. They're too drunk to care. And so I would be in places and my hands would be full on like this, and I would be shaking so bad I couldn't control it, and I would have to go in the bathroom and actually lay on the floor because I was going to pass out, you know. Your hands go numb and it slowly, like, stretches up your arm, and because of that, I feel that's a large reason I haven't played, is just insane anxiety and fear of putting your stuff out there. And so I think that's another reason that I feel I am before the starting line, is I'm really getting used to playing my stuff for people.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's an important thing to get used to, and you're well on your way. I mean, I haven't followed you closely, but I mean, obviously that'd be stalking. But I mean, just from what I've seen, recently, and then over your social media, you're definitely on your way, man. And I'm sure, of course, you can see that too. And it's very inspiring, to watch. And it's good to see, and I hope that you're moving in the right direction, and you're on your way. You're on the road to.
I appreciate that. That's definitely a big thing that provokes anxiety for me. Is, am I doing the right thing? Am I going the right path? Am I practicing the right things? Am I practicing enough? Just all of overcritical thinking of
overanalysis.
Yes.
Of things. Yeah, it's the bane of so much progress. Is you think about it. And it's funny at times. It's well, it's a good thing I thought about it for a long time, because I realized this was wrong and I fixed it, and now it's awesome. But before we end the show here. Of course, obviously, I would like to just thank you for coming in today. I had an excellent conversation with you, man.
I don't understand why you guys are thanking me. Thank you guys for letting me do this.
Of course. And
seriously.
Music, just amazing. Again, your following information for people to follow you.
Dominick Brewster official. Dominick with a CK. Family's from the East Coast, so we're weird. And yeah, I mean, I really hope you please, if you enjoyed any of this, just DM me on Instagram and let me know which one you liked more, the first one, second one, what you enjoyed about it. That would really make my day.
Right. And just for those of you out there, it's Brewster in the traditional sense. I was silly and I tried to put UE like Brewster. It's not Brewster, guys. It's Brewster, as if you're brewing something. BREAW, STER, official. All right, real quick, last thing.
Yes.
Advice that you might have to any other musicians, or even just someone in Stockton, if you have any.
In terms of getting music out there?
In terms of getting music out there, in terms of bettering themselves and practicing what they care about?
I'm not the end all, I don't know if I would listen to me, but if I could say anything, I guess it would have to be the fact that you have to love it, and to love something means that you would do things for it no matter what, even if you didn't want to. And to love to play guitar means I'll practice things that I don't want to. And really, I think the only thing you can do is have your heart completely set on it. Be confident in it, which I'm still working on, taking my own advice right there, but really being confident in that this is what I want to do, and knowing that there's going to be a lot of work to get there, and that's no reason to stop.
That's excellently put. Thank you very much, Dominick Brewster, for coming in the studio with us.
Thank you.
Excellent, man. This has been a great, another edition of Locally Live right here on KXVS 92.1 FM, the voice of Stockton. Stay tuned for Betty Ramirez's show, Sabor Latino. Great community programming, La Comunidad. We'll be right back. See you guys.
KXVS on 92.1. Coming soon.